Confidence is for many a trait that some people happen to have the privilege of getting from birth, while everyone else has to remain insecure and doubtful about everything. That couldn't be further from the truth. What you're about to learn in today's video could totally flip your reality upside down. These are not going to be some useless tips that only work on paper. They are real and practical changes that could forever change the course of your life. Here's the beautiful reality. Confidence is in fact not a trait, but a skill that must be developed, period. That's exactly the reason why the top 1% of men have the highest level of confidence out of all the men in the world. They have struggled and fought their way out of their own inner demons to become the best versions of themselves, and their confidence skyrocketed along with each battle they won. In fact, this skill is one of the reasons why they are at the top of the social pyramid. Confidence is a tool so powerful that it almost seems unreal to use, and that's because it's based upon the beliefs that we have about ourselves. The more our brains believe something, the closer that will be to reality. When a man thinks low of himself, just take a guess of what happens. That's right, he slowly but surely disintegrates into a miserable shell of what he could actually be. Sadly, you might have experienced this already, but that's only proof that belief and mental frame are real game changers for everyone. You might even ask, how do the top 1%ers stay this confident? Start by understanding that it is indeed possible to get worse at this skill, much like any other, by not practicing it. The reason why the top 1% of men are able to remain so confident is because they have found the best ways to exercise and maintain this skill. And that's exactly what you will learn today. The 5 ways these men stay confident. Number 1, they have perfect mental health. The way you see yourself is almost entirely linked to your state of mental stability. Those of us who suffer from bad mental health, traumas, and overflowing negativity will always look at themselves in the mirror and think, I'll never be successful because of this, and this. Or, I'll never be a winner because of that, and that. Now, compare that with how the top 1%er approaches this situation. They will see themselves in the mirror and think nothing but supportive, positive, and loving words. Imagine Mike Tyson walking into the ring right before the fight. What do you think he sees in the mirror? A submissive, defeated rat? Or a savage, wild beast that is about to rip the guts out of his opponent? This is the exact type of mindset you need to master. Of course, don't think about ripping someone's guts out if you're about to walk into a 9-to-5 meeting, but master the inner talk based on the setting of the event. In fact, here's a strange reality that can put you into almost perfect mental health, and that is to think about your death. You might say, wait a minute, why would I think about my death to make myself feel better and more confident? But that's the strange oxymoron. When you realize that you will die one day, you quickly realize how worthless it is for a man of your stature to waste his time on self-deprecating thoughts. Death is a motivating factor that most men don't know how to use to their advantage. Monks do it all the time. And just study the type of confidence, focus, and discipline they have mastered. Number 2, they surround themselves with supportive people. For countless times in my life, I've seen poor young men being bullied by their own friend group. One of the biggest reasons why a lot of men struggle with confidence in the modern world is because the people in their life not only show no support, but downright mock and disrupt them in their search for growth. Close your eyes for a second and think about your friend circle. Let's say you come up with a brilliant business idea that could exponentially triple your earnings. If most of you were to share this idea with your friend circle, they would laugh in your face. Ask yourself, are these truly your friends? Does the word friends hold no meaning to you? They are nothing but wolves that you need to cut loose. The reason most of you would never cut these types of friends off comes down to one single word: fear. You are scared of being alone, and so you would rather choose being bullied over solitude. But note this down, young brother. Solitude is every successful man's greatest weapon. Every man that rose to power began with solitude, by working first on his own self. So anytime the urge hits you to associate yourself with these bums, then remember, a successful man is surrounded by other successful men who support him. You will never see a top 1%er being belittled by his peers. That is because not only would he have enough self-respect to drive such individuals away from him, but he would also have impeccable social skills to attract new potential friends who act supportively towards him. This doesn't mean that your friends should cheer you on whenever you are clearly doing something degenerate, but they should move your needle in the right direction. Number 3, they work hard on themselves. So many modern men lack the confidence because they don't deem themselves to be good-looking, disciplined, or able to talk with others in the proper way. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, since discovering the presence of a problem is the first step into finding a solution for it. But these men find thousands of excuses to keep on whining about their imperfections. A top 1% man takes himself by the neck and drags himself towards solving the problem that prevents him from being confident. If they once had a fat, unattractive body, they worked out, and still do, to keep it in great shape. If their social skills weren't ideal, they forced themselves to undergo a process of improvement in that regard. And finally, if they were lazy and unproductive in the past, it's needless to say that they imbued themselves with discipline through thousands of difficult hours of hard work. Instead of complaining about your problems, fix them, as we usually say on our channel. One of the greatest ways to become a master of discipline is to start by giving up pornography. Sex is one of the strongest and most addictive sins for a man. Avoid it, master it. For a master of discipline is a master of everything else as well. Number 4, they have the power to take on the world on their own. It's easy for men to develop insecurities and to lack confidence when none of their choices are made by them. In this world, power equals freedom, and the more powerful you are in society, the more you can choose your own fate. The way the top 1% of men retain this power, and thus their confidence, is by focusing their efforts on their business and on themselves. Think about it. How could they not be so confident with the ability to move to a different country overnight? How can they lack confidence if they know they can just change their way of living with a snap of their fingers? They hold the power, and they feel confident because of it. Most average men do not. Most fall victim to the 9-to-5 that pulls them deeper and deeper into an average rut like quicksand. And other men that want a fake glimpse of this power turn to gangs. But once again, as I said before, true power is not in being able to bash someone's face in, but in freedom. Number 5, they help others. Let's face it, you probably haven't helped anyone in any shape or form in months now. You always hear about it, yet you have never done it yourself. Being of importance to others is one of the most crucial factors towards maintaining a good level of confidence that men often overlook. This is because we're hardwired to seek validation from others, and the best way to achieve that is by making yourself helpful to the community. Top 1%ers don't just spend their days training, working, and meditating. They also invest a great deal of their time towards helping the ones around them, and not just by giving them free stuff. They sacrifice their hard-earned money and precious time for good causes. And that's an incredible way for them to get through a day of insecurity. Once you start to help others too, you'll begin to feel more needed and appreciated. Words of appreciation coming from those who you help can be the biggest motivator in the world. Whenever you feel uncertain about your impotence in the world, just go out and do some charitable work. You'll thank yourself later. So remember, brothers, in order to become a top 1%er, you must be confident just like one. Start stacking your wins in the 5 areas we discussed above, and you'll quickly realize the drastic improvements that hit your confidence level. To see the next best way to level up as a man, check this video here.